When you think of the iconic image from early Attack on Titan, the Colossal Titan peeking over Walmeria is the one that stands out. This moment turned the world upside down and set the stage for the series. However, as we learned in Season 4, the destruction of Walmeria almost didn't happen. After Marcel's death, Annie wanted to abandon the mission and return to Marley, but Reiner, fearing punishment for failure, insisted they continue. He convinced Annie and Bertolt to push forward, leading to the fall of Walmeria and everything that followed. But what if Reiner had agreed to retreat? At first glance, the obvious outcome is that Marley executes Reiner, Annie, and Bertolt for abandoning Marcel, then sends a new warrior unit to Paradis in a few years. After all, Marley needs the founding Titan and the island's natural resources to maintain its empire. One setback would not stop them. But let's push this scenario even further. What if Marley abandoned its plan to capture the founding Titan altogether? What if Marley never attacked Paradis? Before diving into this alternate scenario, we have to address the most important question. Does Grisha still give Eren the founding Titan? In Season 4, we see Grisha's regret over helping Eren. He even pleads with Zeke to stop him. Though we'll never know why exactly Grisha continued with his mission, it's likely Carla's death broke him. In this scenario, Carla survives and Walmeria doesn't fall. So does Grisha still pass on his Titan? The answer is yes, but it wouldn't be as rushed. Instead of acting in desperation, Grisha would carefully guide Eren through the truth. Over multiple private conversations, Grisha would reveal the realities of the world beyond the walls, sharing the hardships he faced in Marley and the truth about Eldians and Titans. Grisha would also emphasize that while Marley had been oppressive, not all of its people, or the world at large, were evil. Grisha tells Eren that the mission is restoring Eldia without flattening the world in the process. Once all of Eren's questions are answered, Grisha would ask him a question. Are you willing to devote your life to restoring Eldia? Eren would say yes, and immediately after, Grisha leads him into the forest and injects him with Titan serum. So how does this Eren's mindset differ from his original self? Without the trauma of losing his mother, Eren is not driven by rage or a thirst for vengeance. Instead, he's defined by indecisiveness and fear. Grisha's death has shaken him deeply, and the mission to liberate Eldia feels like a massive weight on his shoulders. He has no idea how to unlock the founding Titan, and on top of that, he has to keep everything secret. Eren is still a kid, struggling to manage this burden alone. He can also see how Grisha's disappearance has affected Mikasa and Carla. Mikasa, who already lost her biological parents, now feels abandoned by Grisha. Carla does her best to stay strong for Eren, but he occasionally catches her crying when she thinks no one is watching. Eventually, the emotional burden becomes too much for Eren, and he decides to tell the truth. He shows Carla and Mikasa Grisha's journal and explains what really happened to Grisha. Carla and Mikasa are shocked and angry that he kept the secret for so long, but the revelation does provide them closure. For Eren, sharing the truth feels like a weight lifted, even if it does not fix everything. Eren later tells Armin the truth as well, trusting his friend to help him figure out how to continue Grisha's mission. So how are Mikasa, Carla, and Armin impacted by these revelations? Mikasa's protective nature towards Eren remains unchanged. She continues to prioritize his safety above all else. Meanwhile, Armin's curiosity and motivation to explore beyond Walmeria only grows stronger. He dreams dreams of seeing the sea with his own eyes and meeting the people outside Paradis. Armin often reminds Eren that Grisha left Marley more than 13 years ago, suggesting that even if Eldians were mistreated back then, things might have changed. His optimistic outlook helps stabilize Eren's mental state, giving him hope that their situation isn't entirely bleak. As for Carla, she remains protective of Eren. She opposes the idea of him battling the Titans, whether as a scout or as a Titan shifter. While Carla understands the importance of Grisha's mission, her priority, like Mikasa, is Eren's well-being. When Eren decides to join the cadets against her wishes, she pleads with Shadis to sabotage him. However, Eren overcomes the tampered ODM gear, forcing Shadis to pass him, and Carla to accept his decision, even if she fears for his safety. Now, how is the world of Attack on Titan affected by these changes? The Survey Corps still launches expeditions beyond Walmeria, but they lead nowhere. In the original story, the scouts couldn't clear Walmeria of Titans even after 5 years, so it's unlikely they'd have any breakthroughs now. The Wallist faction remains a fringe movement without Walrose falling. In this storyline, John and Sasha never join the cadets. John has no need to join the military police, as towns in Walrose aren't on the front lines, and Sasha is content to stay with her father in the forest, since refugees aren't putting pressure on their food supplies. Shadis has a chance to apologize to Carla for shouting at her, and Hannes stays a drunk soldier who does not take his role seriously. The biggest change is that Ymir remains a pure Titan, which means she isn't there to save Historia during the blizzard when she tries to rescue Daz. Overall, the story slows down considerably. The fall of Walmeria was the catalyst for everything that followed, so without it, there is little momentum. Eren, Mikasa, and Armin keep the truth hidden from everyone, and they don't join the Survey Corps for 2 reasons. They already know what's beyond Walmeria, so there's no point, and if Eren is exposed as a Titan shifter, or worse killed, their hopes for liberation die with him. Instead, the trio seek to join the military police to search for clues on unlocking the founding Titan. Let's consider a scenario where Eren accidentally reveals his Titan powers. For one reason or another, he joins the scouts, and during an expedition beyond Walmeria, he's forced to transform to defend himself from pure Titans. This event becomes a catalyst. Eren goes on a rampage, blindly killing Titans. Assuming he doesn't stray too far from the scouting formation, the scouts manage to recover him once he collapses from exhaustion. In the aftermath, Eren is taken to a cell where Erwin and Levi come to speak with him. Eren reveals everything he knows about the world beyond Walmeria and the final mission that Grisha left him with. Erwin, though skeptical, has always wanted to confirm his father's theory about humanity's true history and decides to fight for Eren at the trial. During the trial, the military police argue that Eren's existence as a Titan shifter is destabilizing. With Walmeria intact and no recent breaches, they insist that the status quo has kept humanity safe and secure. Why jeopardize this by acknowledging the existence of Titan shifters, especially one who has yet to prove any real value? Niall argues that Eren's rampage may have killed a few Titans, but one Titan alone can't overcome the hordes beyond Walmeria. Niall's proposed solution is eliminating Eren. Erwin steps forward to defend Eren, but knows he's in a bind. The truth about the world beyond the walls and the founding Titan's powers is too dangerous to reveal at this trial. The powers that be in Walsina would immediately assassinate him and Eren, so instead Erwin emphasizes Eren's potential as a weapon. weapon, citing the Titans he killed during his transformation as proof of his ability to turn the tide against the Titans. But because humanity doesn't face any imminent threats, his arguments fall flat. In the end, Zachary sides with the military police, granting them authority over Eren. Afterwards, rather than executing Eren, they hand him over to Rod Race, who begins his plan to bring God back into the world. If the scouts win the trial and keep Eren, they'd quickly come into conflict with the royal government. After reading Grisha's journal, Erwin realizes Marley plans to invade Paradis for its natural resources. This means Paradis could be attacked at any time by a technologically superior enemy. To survive, the island needs to modernize its military and unlock the founding Titan's powers. But the nobility opposes both of those goals, and has the people's support because they keep the truth hidden. This makes the nobility a bigger threat than the Titans. Erwin knows King Fritz is just a puppet, as Eren tells him Grisha stole the founding Titan from the Race family. But with Historia dead, there's no one to replace Fritz, so a coup is not an option. Pixis is hesitant to fully back Erwin because he does not think the people will side with the scouts. Even if the truth comes out, people will view Marley's existence as a lie to make Erwin king, leading to a civil war. Pixis states the truth about the world must come from the crown and not the scouts for it to benefit humanity. He then works with Erwin and the scouts to devise a multi-layered plan that dismantles Rod's power without igniting a civil war. The first phase is bringing Zachary to their side, as he's commander of all branches in the military. This works out because Zachary despises the monarchy and had been thinking about leading his own uprising. The second phase is Zachary working with Pixis to secretly move loyal garrison soldiers into Walsina, where these troops will remain on standby until the main operation begins. The third phase is the longest, most critical, and the most dangerous. Mike will monitor Rod's movements across Walsina until he's given the signal to capture him. In the process, Mike would uncover Kenny's anti-personnel squadron and would report its existence to Erwin. Hanji is sent to look into the land-owning nobles to identify any that resent the current status quo. Erwin would then meet with them and offer land and power in exchange for their loyalty. What makes this phase most dangerous is that Mike could be caught by Kenny, and Erwin could be indicted for treason if any nobles reported his proposal. Once the pieces are in place, the final phase would begin. Garrison forces led by Pixis and Zachary storm the palace, detaining the interior police and assembly members. Mike's squad captures Rod Race, while the Survey Corps ambushes and neutralizes Kenny's squad in a brutal battle. By the end, hostile nobles are imprisoned and charged with conspiracy, while the allied nobles are rewarded with land and wealth. Zachary solidifies the scouts' gain by purging the interior police and replacing them with loyal garrison soldiers. To maintain public stability, King Fritz remains a figurehead, but Zachary is now the one in control. The truth about Titans and the outside world is framed as a recent discovery, rather than knowledge repressed by the monarchy. This is to boost the scouts' reputation, while shielding the monarchy from public backlash. With the uprising complete, the scouts have the freedom to focus outwards. They mass-produce thunder spears, then launch a year-long campaign to clear Walmeria of Titans. During this campaign, Eren may encounter the Smiling Titan. He recognizes it as Dina, but resolves to kill her anyways. Saving her would require sacrificing himself, which would doom the island as the king's vow would consume Dina. In the process of killing the Smiling Titan, Eren accidentally unleashes the founding Titan's power. This marks the scouts' first break breakthrough in bypassing the King's Vow. After the battle, Hanji questions Eren on how he managed to command Titans, and since Historia is dead in this timeline, he reveals to everyone what made the Smiling Titan unique. Hanji and Armin wonder if the King's Vow can be bypassed with a royal-blooded Eldian that's not a Titan. They suggest Eren test this theory with Rod. As expected, Eren does not enter the paths, but he does unlock more of Grisha's memories. For the first time, Eren learns he was present at the race chapel when Frida died, something Grisha never mentioned. He also sees glimpses of the future. I'll explain those future memories later, but they don't change Eren's personality. With Carla alive and Eren having years to process the truth, he's calmer and more mentally stable. Squad Levi's survival also means Eren still trusts his friends, so even after seeing future memories, he would not act on them unless absolutely necessary. Once Paradis is cleared of Titans, Erwin turns his attention towards Marley. Before exploring that, let's take another look at changes to the world of Attack on Titan. Many key characters survive in this version of events. Characters like Erwin, Mike, Petra, and Hannes, who would have died in battles with Titan shifters, remain alive and well. Even antagonists like Kenny and Rod are simply imprisoned. Flock stays a background character as the Battle of Shiganshina never hardens his resolve. Looking beyond Paradis, Marcel, Reiner, Annie, and Bertolt remain alive in this scenario, continuing their roles as Marley's warriors. Marley never lost the Colossal Titan to the Scouts, so the world never senses weakness and attacks them. In this storyline, Marley abandoned their plan to capture the Founding Titan and shifted their attention towards modernizing their military and ending their over-reliance on Titans. The next phase of the storyline is the rising tension between Paradis and Marley. After clearing Paradis of Titans, the Scouts begin intercepting Marleyan spy ships sent to survey the island. Their goal is to gather intelligence by capturing the soldiers aboard, but this tactic raises alarms in Marley. From Marley's perspective, they believe that Karl Fritz brainwashed the Eldians on Paradis and kept them confined within the walls. With the warriors never launching their attack, Marley has no reason to believe that the situation has changed. However, when the spy ships stop returning, Marley begins to fear they may have provoked the Founding Titan into retaliation. Zeke pushes for sending him to the island, but the Marleyan military rejects the idea. They're scared he will be ambushed and stranded on Paradis. A full-scale invasion is also deemed too risky, as it might trigger the rumbling. In this scenario, with Marley having abandoned its ambitions towards Paradis, they'll most likely choose to ignore the missing ships versus escalating a conflict they can't fully understand. An uneasy peace develops between Paradis and the outside world. The Scouts begin covert operations, sneaking into Marley and other nations to gather information. However, their findings are grim. Armin and Eren hope that the hatred of Eldians would have diminished, but they learn nothing has changed. The Scouts are forced to accept that Paradis has no potential allies and must rely on its own strength to survive. Thanks to Eren's earlier encounter with Dina, the Scouts at least know how to bypass the King's Vow, and since they have Rod imprisoned, all they need is another Titan shifter. This is where Yelena enters the picture. Yelena is a fanatical supporter of Zeke's euthanasia plan, and she takes the risk of traveling to Paradis, even knowing the island may be hostile, and she delivers Zeke's proposal to the Scouts. In this alternate scenario, Zeke never stole Mike's ODM gear, meaning he never learned about the Iceburst Stone. Without this knowledge, Zeke is unable to negotiate an alliance between Hizuru and Paradis. As a result, the 50-year plan is never on the table. Zeke's offer is straightforward: bring him to the island, and he'll help them bypass past the King's Vow. Since Zeke never attacked Walrose, he's not despised by the scouts, however they still can't trust him, as all they know about Zeke is that he betrayed the Eldian revolutionaries as a child. But despite these doubts, Paradis is desperate, and this proposal is their only chance to secure a Titan shifter, so they accept his offer. In this storyline, Eren still trusts his friends, so he never goes rogue or attacks Marley. Instead, he follows Erwin's plan to smuggle Zeke to Paradis covertly. The scouts know they can't afford a direct confrontation with Marley. They lack the Colossal Titan and modern weapons, making any battle unwinnable. Their best strategy hinges on Zeke being deployed to battle, where he could fake his death and allow the scouts to extract him. But even this has a low chance of succeeding. Zeke wants to meet the founding Titan user to assess their personality, as he can't trust an unknown person with that power. Even more so when Yelena tells him that Grisha's son is the founding Titan user. Assuming Zeke accepts the risk, the next challenge is escaping from Marley. Without a proper diversion, it's likely Marley would notice Zeke's disappearance before he could leave the mainland. And without the Mid-East war to preoccupy Marley's forces, Zeke might never be deployed to battle, leaving the scouts without an opening. If they somehow successfully bring Zeke to the island, they immediately test the rumbling. I must emphasize that no one, not even Eren, fully trusts Zeke. However, the alternative is Rod Race, who is just as bad. Eren also believes he'll be in control, which convinces the scouts to move forward. When Eren and Zeke enter the paths, Eren commands Ymir to release the Wall Titans, but she ignores him. She only obeys those with royal blood. Zeke takes control of the situation and conjures chains to restrain Eren. His goal is to determine whether Eren has been brainwashed by Eldian nationalism. Unsurprisingly, Eren fails the test. Zeke then leads Eren through Grisha's memories. Unlike in the original storyline, Zeke sees Grisha gently teaching Eren about the world and encouraging him to ask questions rather than forcing his worldview upon him. The brothers progress through Grisha's remaining memories before returning to the paths. Zeke then orders Ymir to euthanize the Eldians, and Eren moves to stop her. This is where things get complicated. In this scenario, Eren isn't trying to end the Titan curse or flatten the world. However, because he offers Ymir a choice, she sides with him, and then the alternate scenario starts to unravel. In the original timeline, Eren described his mind as jumbled when using the founding Titan. This was because he was experiencing the past, present, and future all at once. Despite the mental turmoil, he retained just enough clarity to guide events towards breaking Ymir's curse. This included manipulating the past to ensure the timeline flowed correctly, like sending Dina's Titan away from Bertolt and towards Carla. In this alternate timeline, however, events have diverged completely from the intended outcome. Even if Eren unleashed the rumbling, the scouts lack the means to pursue or stop him, so it's possible that Eren, or even Ymir, would manipulate past events to ensure Walmeria falls and Carla dies, creating a timeline where Mikasa can make the choice needed to break Ymir's curse, but doing so would reset the alternate scenario back to the original timeline. Earlier I mentioned that Eren's future memories would be confusing, and this is why. Through Grisha, Eren sees memories tailored to guide him towards this ending, but in this scenario, Eren ignores these memories, meaning the events he sees, like Sasha's death, the declaration of war, and the rumbling, never actually happen. These memories come from a future that no longer exists. So to answer our original question on what happens if Walmeria never falls, there are two potential outcomes. The first is that Eren or Ymir manipulates the past to ensure that Walmeria does fall and Carla dies. thus resetting the timeline. The second and least likely outcome is that Eren resists the Founder's power and ignores Ymir's curse. In this case, he'd initiate a partial rumbling as Zachary instructed before rebuilding the walls. This show of strength would deter outside threats while allowing Eren and his friends to live in relative peace. The curse of Ymir is never broken, so the threat of the rumbling would secure the island until technology is developed to neutralize it. But what do you guys think? How does the story unfold if Marley never attacks Paradis and Walmeria never falls? Leave your comments below, and I'll see you next time.